The Journey Towards Free Spirit, Chapter 4. Well, English is not my first language. I'm doing my best, and I know it's good enough. Sorry for the noises. Yet, I spoke with someone who is American, who told me that the term free spirit may be kind of misleading because it has some associations with, the hippies, free spirit, people who don't follow the rules, rebels, etc. So she suggested that I use term like the spirit of freedom. It sounds nice, yet my gut feeling is that it is the right thing to keep up this name, Free Spirit, the journey towards Free Spirit, because I believe that the journey towards our Free Spirit is the essence of being here, of growing, of healing, of going through transformations, of coping. Everything that is problematic here is a result of conflict between our need to be free, to express our free spirit, and our acceptance of being here, planet Earth, with all the limitations, with all the pain, with all the hardships. So we decided to be here, but at the core of our being, there is something that it is us, but it is greater than our current us. It is our free spirit. And the better we practice, the closer we get to our core as free spirit people, I think that we have a better life in general. And of course, in times in which our freedom, our free spirit is threatened, is challenged, is questioned, and in times like this work becomes far more important than in other times. In times in which we realize that there are forces that are trying to take over our free spirit, our free choice. So in these times, it is far more important to be here, to talk about these things, to listen, to discuss, to think about it, to cope for it, to challenge it, to practice it. And let me be clear, I don't think that I have all the answers. I don't call myself a master or something like this. I deliver information that I believe is important for people. There are people who can be nurtured by this information that is coming from me. Yet, it doesn't mean that this information or these tools are appropriate for all people, that they are absolute truth. It is not. It is just a perspective. Okay? So I'm asking you to be in touch with your free spirit voice that will tell you in all the steps that we make here if this place is good for you. And it doesn't have to be. I want you to choose. And if you choose now, it doesn't mean that you need to choose for all the way. It's not an obligation. The only obligation I would like you to have is to your inner voice. And it's not easy to be in touch with this inner voice. Yet, all improvement we can make in this tuning to this silent, authentic, truthful voice, all improvement is so valuable, so important for our journey. We are now in chapter 4, which begins part 2. Part 2 out of 8 parts. this course. Each part contains 3 chapters, total is 24 chapters. So, part 1 was about discussing what freedom is really about. Part 2 is talking about internal enslavement as a source for external enslavement. Okay? So, part 2 is asking the questions, very important questions, of our role in places, events, times in which we lose our freedom. Our role, the way we unconsciously cooperate with forces who are trying to steal parts of our freedom. We have to ask these questions. We have to take a look and see how our personality shakes hands with the attempts to create tyranny, to create dictatorship, to steal our freedom from us. So, let's begin chapter 4. Be aware of your internal dictator. Okay? And all people that have some awareness of their true being here also have awareness for their inner dictator. Some call it the inner critic, the inner judge, self-critic. You know what I'm talking about. That part in us who is never satisfied, who uses many kinds of punishments, self-judgment, self-accusations, self-criticism. And in many times, once this dictator is active, is prominent, is heard, it makes us feel small. It makes us feel not worthy, not successful, not capable, and of course, not free. This dictator is trying to limit our creativity. Are you aware of the fact that many parts of your creativity are being blocked in this very moment because of some fears that you have developed through the years, fears that were gathered into your inner critic, that is trying all it can to limit your spontaneity, to limit your ability to initiate some new crazy things, that is trying to warn you from almost every new step that you want to make. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of this? Are you aware of the fact that you have some very wide range of creative possibilities that are not expressed only due to overexpression of your inner dictator, of your inner critic? Are you aware of this? Because for now, if you want freedom, you need to know your limitations. You need to know about the jail, the prison that you are living in. And this should not put you in despair. No. This information can define the places in which you're going to fight in a better way for your freedom. But first, you need to uncover the illusion. The illusion, for example, that your inner critic is right, that its harsh messages are things that you are supposed to hear or follow, that its tendency to be disappointed at you may sound logical, may sound reasonable, and then you feel bad about yourself, you feel small, you feel that you are not capable of doing things, of changing, of initiating, of creating. of achieving things that you haven't been able to achieve so far. This inner critic, this inner dictator, is the major part in life, not just in your life, in life, that stands between people and their free spirit. And many times, when people do not do the proper work to reduce this inner dictator's influence, they remain in a very narrow space in which they believe they are free, but they are kind of slaves of their own dictator, in which has a very sophisticated agenda, very manipulating agenda that creates some kind of self-understanding, rationalization that makes you feel that this dictator should be there, should punish you, should alert you, should warn you, should tell you that it is not good for you to take risks, to be spontaneous, to be free, to be silly, to create things just out of your passion, even if you are not that good at this field. It is very important for you to realize, for everyone to realize, that as a part of being human beings, especially in the Western world, means cultivating a very strong and exaggerated self-dictator. This self-dictator uses pain to limit you, to take parts of your freedom. Many times you can hear, you can read about dictators that rule the people through fear, through pain. They were able to do so because they kind of shook hands with the inner dictators that all people have. Because if this inner dictator is not that active, people would not agree and fight for their freedom as the most important thing to fight for. Even if you lose things during this fight. The main reason for people to lose their freedom is because they have kind of Trojan horse inside them. Shh. This is my dog. There are some noises from the neighbors. This is life. We're here. And you know my agenda about recording from life. From life. I like it this way. I hope it's okay with you. For me, it's a part of the work. So, I'm saying again, if you want your free spirit to expand, and it can expand, its nature is to expand. If you want it to be more dominant in your life, you should pay close attention to that part in you that opposes your own free spirit. This is your inner dictator. This is your own prison, your own prisoner that dictates what you do, what you think, what you have to believe in, how far you can go with your passion, with your desires, with your dreams. The good news is that we can overcome this dictator. We can limit this dictator. We can quarantine this dictator. We can have much more freedom. But first, we need to know. We need to be aware of it. We need to feel it. We need to say, oh, right, yes, now I can feel myself dictator. It is talking to me right now. It's trying to intimidate me. We need to capture it once it is talking to us. Only then we can fight for our freedom inside us. And only when we do so, we can fight for our freedom outside us successfully. Otherwise, you fight for freedom that you have no idea what it really is about, because inside you are captured in your prison. So this is our goal now, to say hello to our inner dictator, and to send it a message. I can see you. You cannot do these manipulations like you did before. I can see you. And I will change the balance I have with you. But first, I'm watching you.